Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Long time no here. But welcome back to the Watch That John podcast. Brr, 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 brr. Did I sound like
Yeah,
air horns? It was supposed to be air horns.
that's what be air horns.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You
Um,
didn't have to shade me like
Underwhelming.
that.
Yeah, just a little
Your mother.
underwhelming. But yo, I'm excited to be back because a lot has kind of happened since our last recording.
A heck of a
You
lot has
know,
happened to you.
yeah, to me specifically, right? I just came back from Lagos, Nigeria.
Was that your Nigerian accent?
No, it
And you
wasn't.
came
I
out
ain't
my air
trying.
horns. And that was your Nigerian accent. Wow.
We was in Nigeria.
Now you sound like what's old boy name? Rest in peace.
Oh,
You sound like
Nelson
Chris.
Mandela.
No. Black Panther.
Oh,
You sound like his bad
Ballsman. Yeah, yeah.
accent.
There's a thin line. One of our friends was telling us it's a thin line between Nigerian accent and the Black Panther accent, which is not the right accent at all, and it's offensive.
Yeah.
He said there's a thin line
Yeah.
to it.
Even though Wakanda isn't Nigeria, so maybe that's a little bit of a So
What did you just say?
Wakanda isn't Nigeria. I know
It's
I know
not.
it's I know it's not a real place, but it's its own separate country. So maybe in this fictional world country in Africa, they sound like it's a shame I can't remember his name. Guys, we are very tired.
Chadwick Ballsman.
Is it
Yeah,
Bozeman?
Bozeman. Yep.
Okay, we sound like Chad. Maybe in Wakanda, people sound like Chadwick. But yeah. So how was Nigeria? Or do you not want to get into it? Because we don't have to.
So the wedding was beautiful. We had a wonderful time. I was able to see a lot of old friends and met a lot of new friends. But the trip itself was kind of terrible. Yeah, it was god awful. It was the worst trip ever. We stayed at a crappy hotel. The food wasn't good because we only ate food at the hotel. We got stuck in traffic every single day.
For hours, and you got sick.
Yes, and I got sick as a dog.
Yeah.
Never been, and that's why we haven't recorded in a while because the past 2 weeks I literally been recovering, and 2 weeks prior to that I was in Nigeria. So
And even the time before you even left for Nigeria, you spend so much time just getting ready for Nigeria, getting your vaccines and your visas and packing. And it was a lot, guys. So that's why we had a bit of a hiatus. But
yes,
hopefully you were a good student and took that time to watch the movies you haven't watched and listen to the reviews that you haven't listened to yet. So
exactly. Especially since the Oscars just happened
it did.
last night,
Did you watch all of
and
it?
I did watch most of it.
Okay.
That's so. A lot of our movies won something, right?
Yeah.
So the best picture was won by Oppenheimer, which we reviewed.
Oppenheimer they took everything, guys. They took everything.
They, t- they did, and I predicted it. I predicted it was gonna win an Oscar. I did. Go back and
But
listen
I
to the
didn't think,
episode.
did Barbie win anything?
Barbie won like best song.
Yeah, because Greta Gerwig didn't win anything, did she?
Yeah, but no. The Whisper Girl,
Billie Eilish.
Billie
Oh
Eilish. Yes,
yeah, yeah. I
yes.
remember they're like, here's Billie Eilish performing her Oscar-winning song, and I was like, that's weird to say an Oscar-winning song, but songs are in movies, so it makes sense.
Yeah. No, John Legend won Oscars, and he got his EGOT because he won an Oscar.
Oh, do you know for what song?
I don't know,
You don't
man.
know?
I just said I didn't know he got an EGOT.
He's an EGOT.
Yes.
All right.
What is it? The Emmy, Oscar,
Grammy, Tony.
Grammy, Tony. Yep. But yeah. Who else won?
That's about it, dog. It was literally
No, but
Oppenheimer.
animated. The best animated
Oh, The
film,
Boy and the Heron won.
The Boy and the Heron
And
won
won the
most
Golden
animated.
Globe too.
Yep, and won the Golden Globe. And this movie that we review today, American Fiction,
American
right?
Fiction.
That won best adapted screenplay.
Yes. So
Yes.
this
My first time director
Cord Jefferson.
Cord Jefferson,
Yeah.
yes.
So I was watching well, did you hear his Oscar speech?
I heard his pro ceremony speech.
Okay.
It was more like a Q&A.
Yeah. So you said he literally said there are so many people out there that wants the opportunity that I was given. Thank you all who worked on this movie for trusting a 40-year-old black guy who's never directed anything before. It changed my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is his directorial debut, and I actually watched a CBS interview with Cora Jefferson, and pretty much so he used to be a journalist. He used to work in journalism, and he said that the only stories he would cover, they'll come to him and ask him, hey, do you want to do the Mike Brown story? Do you want to do the Trayvon Martin story? Do you want to do just a bunch of stories about unarmed black men getting killed by the police or someone else, when it was just kind of the same things. And when he moved on to film and television, they asked him to kind of write about the same things. And he
Yeah.
literally said that there's a real poverty of imagination when it comes to people's perception of what black life looks like. And I think that sums up American fiction as a whole.
No, and I agree. And he also said something along the lines of that there's diversity in diversity, meaning that the black experiences have a wide range. And you know how you're in, and you probably happened when you was in school, it happened with me in school, where you're in a class, you get one or two black folks, and the professor looks at you and say, "Hey, Mary, what is the black perspective?" And I always felt that was unfair because I can't give the whole black perspective because I don't speak or understand or have the whole black experience. Every experience is unique, just like you wouldn't expect every white experience or Asian or Hispanic experience is the same. There's similarities, but there's diversity in the diversity. So that's why I like this movie in particular, because they talked about, like he talked specifically how he didn't go and show the typical side of Boston, right? That's where the movie was largely based out of Boston and LA. But the typical side of Boston, is
I think angry drunk white people when I think of Boston.
exactly angry drunk white people.
And Larry Bird.
Yes, and Larry Bird and the Boston accents, you know what I mean, and the towns. But the side of Boston they showed was Boston with all black people in it, right? They showed Boston that
it didn't feel like Boston. I've never been to Boston, but it didn't feel like how I imagined Boston to be at all.
It's not. And I've been to Boston too. I have been to Boston. And you're right. It did not feel like Boston because it was in downtown Boston. It was in Massachusetts. It was at a beach house. It was at their beautiful brickstone house, So yeah, I think he wanted to show that all black experiences isn't the same. I thought that was really good.
And he said he wanted to make a movie that was about these kinds of serious issues about race, about identity, about sexuality, but that felt really inviting to a lot of different kinds of people. And I think he did that because even when I saw this movie twice. I saw it in the theaters with a friend, and there were a lot of different people in the theaters. There were a lot of white people in the theaters. There were a lot of black people in the theaters. Like, it wasn't just, like you said, like, it wasn't just a black movie,
Yeah.
Not saying there's anything
Yeah.
wrong with black movies. There are great black movies, but you know how sometimes if I don't know, I can't go up to anybody and talk about Love and Basketball, or
Exactly.
like the next Spike Lee joint. This
Exactly.
was a black movie, but it wasn't put into the little box of black movies. Like that scene in the movie. We're jumping forward. I'm just giving an example. That scene in the movie where Monk finds his book in the African American Studies section, and he's like, "What is this? This is not
Yeah.
what? The only thing, the blackest thing about this book is the ink."
Is the ink. Exactly.
So, yeah, and you know, this book is actually based. This movie is actually It's adapted from a book, and that book is what,
Yes, it
James?
is. Erasure
Erasure.
by Erasure.
You
It was
know
not
what
Eraser.
it's erasure. Like everyone says,
Erasure.
yeah. Like you know what erasure means. How do you say it? You never use the word erasure, like the erasure of, I don't know, of black people in history, or You know, James, come on. You know it. You never
No.
use the word erasure. It means what does erasure sound like? What does it mean?
It sounds like eraser, but I wasn't trying to say eraser. I was trying to pronounce the sure part.
The erasure. But you well, I guess you never heard that word before, like said. You know what it means, but you never heard it said. There's a word like that. What
There's a lot of words for me.
that you know what it means, but you never heard it said. So it's like, how do you pronounce it? English is weird.
How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's called erasure, and it's by we don't know I think his name is Percival Everett. What did Eileen said his name was? Percival.
Arlene said Percival. Yes, Percival. Percival Everett.
Okay, so this is a 2001 book, and I believe that Percival, he did an interview with the New York Times, and he said in the last 4 or 5 years, as his generation of young Black artists are popping up, the people interested in making and adapting work has changed. It used to be a 60-year-old white guy looking to option something. Now it's these young people who are interested in arts and not commerce.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why he was interested in making his book a movie, you know, because
You finally
I
have the
read
right
this,
people to tell the stories.
exactly. You have to have people with a vested interest because if not, ironically, like the movie, they kind of just turn it up to get ticket sales,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And this movie did have a low budget and they didn't market it very well. When you first mentioned American Fiction, I never heard of it until it got
I didn't
nominated.
mention it. My friend mentioned it. She was like, "Are y'all gonna
Yeah.
do American Fiction?" I was like, "What even is that?" Like,
What even is
I didn't
that?
know what it was, which is crazy since it has big names like Issa Rae and Tracy Ellis Ross and Sterling K. Browning.
Sterling K. Brown. Yep, Sterling K. Brown.
Brown.
And Jeffrey Wright.
I'm
Yep,
thinking
and
about
Jeffrey
Logan
Wright.
Browning, but yeah, it's like, yeah. So, but all right.
Even Keith David was in it. You know, and
He
he's like the father
was.
/ cop of every black movie.
Oh
you know
my
what I mean?
God. I saw him and I was like, yo, who is this man? He's literally in everything. But I don't know
Yes,
his
he's in
name.
everything.
Keith Davis. Yeah.
Keep
Yeah. So
David.
is David? Okay, Keith David.
David,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this man, his face, like I've been growing up seeing his face my whole life. Another black legend who white people probably
Yes.
don't know who they are, but we know. We know.
We know, exactly. But I thought the movie, right? When I read the description of the book, I was like, wow, they did a pretty good job of reenacting it, right? Because in
Of
the
adapting
book,
it, not reenacting.
of adapting it, yes. In the book, Thelonious Monk, right?
Yo, I know I'm a PK
Ellison.
because I kept seeing his name,
PK.
a preacher's kid. I kept
Oh,
seeing his
okay.
name and thinking Thessalonians. Wait, it's Thessalonians. But I saw his name and I thought Thessalonian. Like every time
Yes.
I saw it.
So his name it played homage to two black American legends. Arthur Ralph Ellison.
So you say homage, I say homage.
Homage, homage.
Yeah, English don't make no sense.
It doesn't. And jazz pianist. You say pianist or pianist? Pianist?
I say I don't say that word. Pianist, I guess. Pianist.
Yeah.
Pianist.
Pianist?
It's pianist. We sound so
penis,
stupid.
Mary.
It's penis. We sound real dumb today, y'all. We're tired. I haven't had my nap today.
It's fine. It's fine. And composer, now I can't say
You
the
didn't
name
say
anymore.
composure. You said composer.
Composer.
Yeah.
Words are hard. Remember we said this earlier?
did.
Thelonious Monk. So basically he's named after two brothers. That's all I'm trying to get at. Right. Yeah. And in the book, right, they described him as middle-aged and is a man of uncompromising artistic standards and dwindling financial prospects.
So how you got strong opinions, but you broke?
You broke, right? And
Beggars can't
he
be
was-
choosers.
Yes, and in the opening of the movie, I loved it, right? Because he
Oh
was
my
basically-
God. Yes. Let's talk about the lecture. Let's talk about the
Yes.
lecture and that annoying ass students. Tell them what
Yes,
happened.
right?
Tell them what happened. Break it down.
So he was teaching a Southern literature class, and I forget the name of the book, but I had the strong ER written on the board,
Yeah.
right? Just just strong ER, right? And a white
Not
girl
now.
raises her
Now I want to know what
hand.
it says. Wait, it's
It was like
dang. Ain't nowhere wrote it down.
no, I didn't write it down because I'm like, oof. I said
It
they
was
got the
just written on the
on the
whiteboard in all
whiteboard,
caps.
right? It all caps, just strong ER. She's like, I don't think that word is right. And he looked at it, was like,
This white girl,
I
yeah,
spelled it with two G's,
right. I
right?
spelled it.
And
Not
then
even
she
with
was
the A,
like,
y'all. Like you said, the strong ER.
strong ER, right? And so then uh she was like, well, it's offensive. And he was like, well, I was able to get over it. Like, I'm pretty sure you can
Real
too.
shit.
And she was like, I don't see how. And then he just looked at her like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
like,
he was
like I'm literally
very
teaching this stuff, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. It's just allyship. There's a fine line that you have to toe when it comes to allyship, people. You,
Yeah.
you can't be more offended by what makes you uncomfortable than what actually is happening, and you can't
Yeah.
let your discomfort block you from getting knowledge. If a black man is here, it's uncomfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Exactly.
But to
That's the whole
literally
point.
argue with a man about an experience that you've never had, it's
And he
wild.
mentioned it.
Yeah.
And he mentioned it. He mentioned that, that he said the ideas were archaic,
Yeah.
and but you need to look at it at the lens of what is happening. In America, we talked about this before, but it's like we're not just embarrassed by our history, we deny it.
They put their head in the stands like ostriches and just hear no
Exactly.
evil, speak no evil. And it's like
Like,
ignoring it
like
is how it happens again.
exactly, right? How do you get to know like what your grandpa thought of if you don't read the grandpa's racist book?
You know what I mean?
Right? Like
Yeah.
the Dave Chappelle book. Like, I read the book. Oh man. Remember the Dave Chappelle when he was acting like the white supremacist and he wrote
When
nigga
he was a
book?
Klansman
Yeah.
and he didn't know it because he was blind.
Yeah.
Dave
he was like,
Chappelle
nigga book.
is a jewel.
Yeah, he's ridiculous, right? But no, I thought that scene was funny.
It was,
but then
about
he got suspended for it.
people, how do I say it? This isn't his first incident. I think he cussed her out, like how the way she stormed out the room and how furious he looked, saying, "Does anyone else have a fucking question?" He was very aggressive. He was very aggressive. So I don't think it was necessarily the content. It's just that we see Monk is a man who I feel like suppresses a lot, and he has a lot of anger. He has a lot
Yeah,
of
he
pent
does.
up resentment about things. Which understandably, but I think he kind of reached his breaking point, and I thought that was, watch this movie a second time around, it was a lot funnier. Like, I
Yeah.
literally cracked up. Like, when he was in the room where they're telling him, hey, we need you to take like a leave of absence, and someone said to him,
His hater coworker.
he was like,
Yeah.
someone was like, Monk, we're so glad to have you here at this university, and you're such a great author. And he's like, seriously, he hasn't published anything in what do you say, 12 years? And he was like,
Oh, he said I wrote 3 books in the time it took you to publish since your last one or something like that.
yeah. And he's like, that proves to me that good things take time.
Exactly.
Like, I find your book at airports with my fucking Cheez-Its. Get out my face. Like, but
No, that was his banter was funny. He's really really smart.
it's a very witty, smart film.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has moments of, it has moments of sophisticated banter, but also just straight up funny silliness. Like
Yeah.
later on in the movie where they were having a funeral and that man just walked up there and said, "Do you have a permit for?"
Oh, we can.
We'll get to that. Yeah, yeah.
We'll get. Oh,
It was a good balance. It was a good, because I feel like sometimes movies, when they try to fall into like the smart, sophisticated category, it feels like they're trying to hold back on comedy. This didn't feel like that.
No, and I think so. In the book, right? They said that they called it declusive. I'm probably butchered that word.
Declusive?
Yeah, basically like
To not include.
not No, like I said the word wrong. They basically the book doesn't stay on task. It's wide ranging. It's like scatterbrained, right? And I
It sounds
think
like a bad thing.
that's well, they said sometimes it could be like that, like it's not really staying on task. But I think it just shows the range of the author, because it shows like how they can be sophisticated, but funny, but hood at the same
It's
time.
that
You know
duality. It's the
exactly,
intersectionality between being a scholar but also being a nigga. You know,
exactly.
it can
You know
coexist, and I love people like that. I love it.
exactly,
I love it. But
exactly.
yeah, when he said that aren't you, I forget who he was talking to before when they were talking about his leave of absence. He said oh, you're going to that book conference in Boston, so that should relax you. Your family's there. And Monk said, it's funny that you presume that spending time with my family is relaxing. And he's,
Takes the edge off.
yeah. And I said that, and I was like, you know what? That's something that I'm grateful that I never fully experienced. Only in certain moments where I'm like, oh man, my family sucks.
This is about to be awkward. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember me and someone else were talking about, this is way off topic, but I was like, I really don't understand the dynamic of like siblings deeply not liking each other. Not as simple like, we argue, we fight, sibling stuff, but like y'all generally don't get along. It's like, what? Like what do
Yeah,
y'all mean? Like, so I saying that, I was like, I am blessed to have a family that I generally enjoy being around and that I like, you know.
yeah.
But
No, you're right. It is a blessing, and when he came home, right, he was greeted by his sister, which I have I love Tracy
still,
Ellis
you have
Ross
a
show.
crush on her.
I do.
And who
I
doesn't?
do.
Honestly, who doesn't? Her fashions always on
Yeah.
point. Her hair
And it's
beautiful. Her red lip.
and it's and it's crazy because I don't like her at all in Girlfriends. When she was younger, I start thinking I start seeing her a different light when she got older in Blackish.
She aged like fine wine.
Yeah, she aged like fine wine. She reminds me of Felicia Rashad when she was like
Really?
in the Cosby shows. Just like how the way you said the aging part, right? Just like sophistication, but still cool. You know what I
She's
mean? And but she's a little
effortlessly
older.
cool and
Yes,
genuinely funny. I
exactly.
forget what movie it was, but she was in this movie with Dakota Johnson, I believe. That is the brunette that was in 50 Shades of Grey. And she was a musician, and Dakota was like her manager or something. She was
Oh, I do remember that.
Ice
Yeah,
Cube was in it too.
yeah,
She was hilarious. She was
yeah.
just
No,
so full of
she's
herself and confident, and she's just effortlessly funny, just so freaking funny. So yeah.
yeah, she is. She is. And so when Monk comes and meets Lisa, what's his Tracy Ellis Ross.
Wait, but you forgot. You forgot about what happened at the book conference.
I did.
Yeah.
You go.
Let's okay, so he
I,
gets to Boston and he has his little forum and no one is there, which I understand cuz who really goes to them? But he says that no one's at the book forum that he is, not the forum, the panel discussion. That's what it's called, right?
the panel
Because
discussion.
they're all lined up for another author named Centaura,
Yep, Centaura Golden.
played by Issa Rae. And the book that she wrote is We's Live in the Ghetto.
So first time I saw that book, right? First time I saw the title, I was like, "What the heck is this?" But the second time I watched the movie, I read it again. I was dying. Yo.
We's Live in the
In
Ghetto.
the ghetto.
Oh my
Like,
goodness. How did you feel about the excerpt that she read?
yo, when she was like, "I'm going to the pharmacy."
Yo, Sharonda.
Why you going? Yo, Sharonda, why you going to the pharmacy? You can't be. You pregnant again? Yeah, but he could be a good baby daddy this time, or whatever she said. Like,
They sounded like slaves. They sounded
they
like
really
slaves.
did.
It wasn't
No
even
one-
just like ebonics or street talk. They said the fact you said I says, where you going?
Yeah, I
That is
says.
slaves. That is slavery. That is heats and cotton and lashes. And I don't even know. That's
Nobody in the hood is saying I says.
I
Like,
says. What is is she,
I,
46, 54? Like, just what? What is going on?
only thing I could think of if they were like deep south. I'm like Mississippi South, like Alabama South. Maybe they saying I says.
I really don't think so.
Maybe.
I really don't think so.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. DQ listens to a lot of Memphis rappers. They don't sound like that. They still have a little, they still sound modern. Like, they literally sound like it's 1814. Like,
Exactly. Mamas is at the door. Like, mamas, you coming out, mom? Like,
I was like, what? And the white people ate it up.
yo, they loved it. They just sat up there, and I loved how Monk's face, yo. He was just like, he couldn't believe it. He was just like looking around like, is everyone brainwashed? Are these people idiots? We just read this garbage, and everyone's over here like fawning over it. And then then later on in the movies, he would see reviews and saw it was raw and visceral
And
and all
important.
these other and important. And he just like, what is going on?
So
Right.
what do you think the appeal of books like that is?
I think it's expected. I think people expect black authors to write stuff like that because it's what people know.
Yeah.
And people like struggles. That's why people like drama. People like feeling other people's pain. And they also, I feel like this day and age, people low key, with good intentions sometimes, they're like, I want to support black authors. So the books that are more like visceral and like alarming and provocative are the books that get the most attention, right? You know how books work, it's all word of mouth. If someone's like, yo, this book is awesome, you gotta read it and you could tell someone else the book is awesome, because you don't want to be the one to be like, I missed the point, like. So I don't know, I think it was kind of it was I don't know, but at the same time I feel like that this guy, right, with his storytelling, he was like Jimi Hendrix, right?
What guy?
Imagine a monk, right? So this is how I felt Monk felt like, right? Monk probably felt like Jimi Hendrix.
Hold on,
Jimi
he
Hendrix, the
felt
guitar.
about what? About we live in the ghetto?
No. Listen, I'm about to make the comparison, right? So I feel like Monk, where he was a Harvard, like he studied at Harvard. He was studying at some fancy school in California. They didn't mention it, right? And he had incredible literary talent, right? And I felt like that he was like, imagine, like he was imagining himself, right? The Jimi Hendrix, right? The famous guitar player, right? Is playing at a concert and people see Jimi Hendrix playing, but they turn around and they go dance and party and everything to Sexy Red. That's probably like that comparison, you know what I mean? It's like
I
you
listen to
guys
Bach and I listen to Kodak Black.
no, but I'm saying it's like musicianship versus style versus, you know what I mean? It's like, if you kind of compare the type of writing he had, right, between like it was good, like traditional good literature. But people like the Pound Town, take a Pound Town. What I mean? People like the catchy stuff. People like you know what I mean? And I think that's what he kind of saw himself as.
You know,
If I compare like the music genre to the literary.
and I get that. Sometimes I like an easy read. I like
Yeah.
something that's easily digestible. Can I tell you how long I've been trying to read Dune? That book is freaking crazy. They just introduce whole new concepts without explaining it. They have a glossary, James. This is
Wow.
a fiction book, and they have a full glossary, not a little page or two of terms, pages of terms. Glossary so much that sometimes definitions refer to other definitions. It's very political. And it's like, you know what? I put it down and I started reading this book my friend got me. I'm just like,
Yeah.
sometimes you want an easy read.
Yeah.
And I kind of get people gravitating towards a book called We Lives the Ghetto. I would never read that. But it's like, like you said, sometimes it's like Monk says it too. He said, look what they expect of us. Look what
Yeah.
they expect us to write. Like you said, it's about expectations too. But I do get the appeal where it's like, you know what? This is easy to read. Like, let me just sit here and watch it. And sometimes people, I think it's kind of similar to people like in horror films. Sometimes we want to watch stuff that's deeply disturbing. And if you already have this perception of what you think Black lives are, that's the easiest thing to get to. And then white
Mm-hmm.
people read it and they feel as if they learned something or if they're doing the work. You know, I remember Monk's publisher, he said something along the lines of white people think that they want the truth, but they don't. They just want to feel absolved.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel like there's some sort of what's the word? What's like the word to explain someone feeling absolved? There's some sort of absolution. They feel less guilty when they read a book about
Yep. Yep.
black
Yep.
artists by black artists, even though authors, even though it's not good, because in their mind they're like, okay, I'm supporting a black author, and they truly believe
Exactly.
that they're understanding the black experience, and you are, but they don't understand how limited that experience is and how it
Exactly.
further perpetuates stereotypes, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
There's an ad for Love and Basketball on Netflix as I'm watching it. By the way.
That's it. People say that's not a good movie. That is a good fucking movie.
Yeah,
It's
I
well
like Love and Basketball.
written. The characters are well written. The story is heartwarming. I was like, what do y'all? Yeah, she played basketball for his heart. Don't act like you haven't done anything stupid for a dude. Come on now. Y'all did something much worse. That was their love
it's-
language.
It was, and it's hilarious because Eileen looked at me. That's her favorite movie.
Yeah.
When I said Love and Basketball, she just smiled like, yeah.
She's annoying. But yeah. So okay, so after the meeting with Satara, that's when he meets his sister. What's his sister's name in the movie? Lisa.
Lisa.
You know, she looks like a Lisa.
She does look like a Lisa.
Every time I imagine Lisa, I imagine light-skinned girls. It's probably because of Lisa Bonet. But Lisa is a very light-skinned girl name to me.
Lisa.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, she's Lisa. She's a doctor.
An OBGYN.
She works in OBGYN. You know, she just got divorced. She's a smoker.
She works at Planned
You know,
Parenthood.
she's stressed out. Yeah, Planned Parenthood. You know, she had to go through a metal detector because, you know, people hate on what Planned Parenthood does.
And now that
And-
abortion isn't the law of the land anymore, her stress
yeah.
levels are probably through the roof and just trying to get people, you know, access to care that they need. And she's very stressed
Yeah.
out. She's very stressed out, you know.
But she loves her brother. She loves her mother. She takes care of them. She's the main caretaker of the mother. You know, she's like the bridge. You know, she's trying to connect. Monk also with the brother Will.
Cliff.
You know, a Cliff. Yes, Cliff. In the real book, his name was.
His name is
I
Will.
think his name was Will.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
But
Cliff.
yeah, but his brother Cliff. You know, and she was basically the glue. You know, so I was when I thought she was funny. Like you said, Tracy Ellis Ross. She wasn't in the movie long. She had a really short part in the movie.
Do you
but
think that was a missed opportunity
to keep her in longer?
to not keep her in longer? Yeah.
Yeah, like probably. And when she died of a heart attack, I couldn't believe it. My jaw was just dropped.
Yeah.
Right. When she dropped, I'm like, because I just thought like, yo, man, you just found out that your mom is having memory lapses. You know, she doesn't remember that.
She has
That
Alzheimer's.
Lisa, he didn't even know this yet. He just like, she didn't remember that Lisa was married. Right. So he just knew his mom was struggling.
Oh
and
no,
he's out
you
with his
mean
sister.
his mom. So Lisa and Monk's mom, when she asked Lisa, "Is your husband coming?" and Lisa's like, "Me and my husband are separated," and then Lisa was
Exactly.
like, "People don't forget that, you know, there's something wrong with
People
mom."
forget. Yeah. People forget dentist appointments. They don't forget about separation.
Yeah,
Right.
divorces. Yeah, they don't forget anything like that. That was
Exactly.
it was very sad, and I think, you know, I always hear this in families where everyone lives their lives, but there's always one sibling who stays back and take care of the parents, especially if, you know, if there's only one parent, like if their other parent is deceased or they're not together, you know, because Monk's father How did he die?
Yeah, he committed suicide.
He shot himself in the head. So literally, I think Lisa's very stressed because literally she was all her mother had, you know, and she's,
And Monk didn't have any money to help her out, right? So he just got laid off. You know,
but even not even financially, just emotionally. I remember
yeah,
Monk asked Lisa when they discovered that there's something wrong with their mom. He asked Lisa, what should we do? And she looked at him. I remember the look that she looked at him. She seemed so exhausted. And she was like, why am I always the one who has to decide? Like,
exactly.
she reversed you don't know that your mom reversed her mortgage. So even if we,
That the father was cheating.
that the father was cheating, she was like, even if we sold the house to put her into care, we can't afford it because your mom's got a reverse mortgage. And there's so many things. And it's like trying to take care of another human being while also trying to handle your divorce, handle your career. I honestly understood why she had a heart attack.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Stress will kill you, man.
Stress will
It
literally take you out. And you know, the sad thing about it is she seemed fine. You know, when you talk to her, that's what you understand. You see the layers peel back. But she didn't seem like someone who was high stress. She still seemed calm, cool, and collective. But underneath of that, she was a laugh away from a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. And the last thing she said to her brother was, "Dictionary police."
Yeah, because he's a real stickler for words and they're
Was a dictionary police a dictionary detective?
a dictionary detective.
Yeah,
Dictionary
yeah.
detective. Yeah, it's like, wait, that's not the right word. And she said something. She was like, I hate it when I bring up an idea to you and you repeat it back to me as a question. It sounds very condescending. Just say you think it's a dumb idea.
Yeah.
So Monk does have a certain era of, what's the word, arrogance to him, an aura. I mean, of like arrogance and just kind of thinking he is intellectually superior to other people.
And his sister was, like you said, OBGYN. She's a doctor.
So is his
And his
brother.
brothers, so was his brother, so was his father.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the book, his grandfather too.
Wow.
So they're from a family of doctors.
Yeah.
They're like the Huxtables.
Yeah.
He's the only non-medical doctor
Yeah.
in the whole Jones.
Yeah. So I guess he kind of had to find a way to cement his intelligence as well. And I guess writing and reading is where he really did that. That's my speculation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That makes sense.
I was very sad when Lisa passed away. And honestly, in the movie, I don't think they mourned her much at all. Like,
No, they didn't. They kind of kept it pushing, right? Because he saw her die, and then the next scene, they were at the beach, and no one was crying. Her mom wasn't crying. He was just like straight face. The only person who was crying is the first time we see Sterling K. Brown's character, Cliff, right?
Monk teared up
And
when he was reading about how she's sad that she didn't die under the heaving thrusts of Idris Elba or Russell Crowe. He choked
Yeah.
up a little bit.
He choked up a little bit, yeah. But then that dude,
Philip.
Philip, yo.
Fuck Philip.
Yo, I literally wrote that down. I said, F Philip, yo. Because, like, he literally saw these people more, like, obviously having some sort of ceremony, wearing all black, standing there. He walked closer to them.
As they're
walked through
scattering
them,
her ashes. Their
and
dead
say,
sisters.
do you have a permit for that?
Yeah.
Who has a permit? Like,
Fuck off, Philip. He said, I'll eat
Yes.
your sweater vest for dinner, bitch.
Exactly.
And it's funny because when Monk was scattering the ashes, he turned back around and said, fuck you, Philip, too. I'll beat your ass. I was like, that's hilarious.
yeah, that's
That's
hilarious.
hilarious.
Like, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, you just,
Something similar happened. I remember for my friend's wedding, she had it in Tulum, and we were at a resort on the beach, and the ceremony's going on. They're saying their vows. Literally, my friend is saying her vows to her husband. And some man he just walks past us. Just some random, because, it's a resort. So the beach is open. It wasn't secluded off, but we were far enough away from people. And he literally just kept walking along the beach past the ceremony. And we're like, who does that? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Go. There's a whole mile beach the other direction. Why are you going this way?
People don't have any respect.
They really don't care. They really don't care. I'm like, and Philip was giving me bored, old, white neighborhood watch woman with nothing to do. Literally.
Exactly.
But do you have a permit? He's giving Karen. He Karen'd
He's
it up.
giving a care. He carried it up, yo.
What's the male Karen?
carried it up.
Carl?
I think Kyle, maybe?
Kyle, totally.
No, Kyle was
I fuck
chill
with
and
totally
nice.
Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone hang out with Kyle. He's more like a...
I don't know. He's not a Chad. Chads are like, he's not a Chad.
Yeah,
Chad he's not
not
cool enough
Chad.
to be a Chad or arrogant
Yeah.
enough to, I guess he is. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, fuck Philip. Get out of here. But yeah, and what's also was funny to me was when Cliff and Monk were, I guess it was the repast. They didn't even have a repast. It just kind of stood around and talked.
Just hung out, yeah. No one even came to the funeral. It was low key.
I was like, they got Tracy Ellis Ross the fuck up out of here. Like, damn.
They did.
But
who else they did that? They did that to Felicia Rashad in Creed 3. They got her the F out of here, yo.
she
They just,
lasted a little bit longer though. Yeah, they didn't have no.
Felicia
The
Rashad.
funeral was like they didn't have a funeral. They showed like Adonis cry for a second and they moved right on. But this was like,
They moved
damn.
right on.
They didn't even mention her that much afterwards. Like,
No, and I would have been devastated.
of course you would, because I'm your world. But
Hmm.
yeah, like Cliff said that he gave Lorraine, the maid, something to help her sleep. And Monk was like, why do you have heroin? Like, why do you have synthetic smack on you?
He had oxy. He had oxy.
Oxycodone. Yeah.
He gave her oxy to sleep, and she was rocked.
She was rocked.
yo.
And then he was like, yeah, you ever see a heroin addict? Them dudes can sleep standing up. Oh my goodness. It's just funny. The whole movie.
No,
is just
I
funny.
liked it. I liked it a lot,
Yeah.
and I thought that Sterling K. Brown killed it, yo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because he's always been ripped. You ever seen This Is Us?
No.
Okay, he's always been ripped, you know, but like he was just like cool and smooth and just like funny, and but also like he has a way of being depressed and sad. And there's one part of the movie where he was partying in a house with with his two gay friends,
For
right?
Lorraine's wedding, yeah.
Yep, for like doing lines of coke on the table. And when Lorraine came up, it basically accepted him, and was like, "You can stay for my wedding," you know. And he looked.
He portrays
so
vulnerability
childish.
very well.
Yes,
Yeah.
so vulnerable, right? Just
Daniel
he's like,
Kaluuya does
okay.
that too well.
Daniel Kaluuya does do that too.
Daniel
He just
Kaluuya.
whispers. You can't hear what he says.
I hear what he says.
But like, I gotta listen.
Really?
Dude. I gotta have subtitles whenever that dude talks.
Just them puppy dog eyes. Daniel Kaluuya. I keep saying Kahlua. Isn't that a drink? Kaluuya. He just, yeah. But no, Sterling K. Brown, and like you said, he felt like a little boy. He was just like
Yeah.
a child, just wanted to be accepted and loved in a way that his parents didn't do or couldn't do. But
Yeah, and he was nominated for his performance for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, you know, and Jeffrey Wright was also nominated for Best Actor, period.
yeah.
But he lost to Robbie Downey Jr., which I thought Robbie Downey Jr. kind of killed it too in Oppenheimer. I thought he did a really good job, but just I don't know.
It's kind of hard to say. I think Robert Downey Jr. was being Robbie Downey Jr. in his role in Oppenheimer, but it was good. It was good. I've never seen Sterling K. Brown
Portray a gay man.
portray the character that he portrayed in American Fiction. So
Yeah, I agree. I
yeah.
agree. And like he was a gay man, but he wasn't like over the top with it. You know, like some people would think, oh yeah, you gotta play a game and you have to be like super
Flamboyant.
flamboyant. You know what I mean, and stereotypical and
Well,
stuff.
that's what they expect of them too. That's what they
Exactly, you're
expect
right.
of them.
That's what you expect.
But what did you think of Coraline?
Oh yeah, she was from the Huxtables, the Cosby Show,
No, she's not. She's
Co-
from
the
Living
Cosby
Single.
and the Cosby Show.
Really? No,
Hmm
she's not.
Erica Alexander. I did. Yes, she was Murphy. I looked it up.
What episode?
I don't know. She was on the Cosby
I don't
Show
remember
and
being
Living
in the
Single.
Cosbys.
Yes, yes, yes. She's in the Cosby Show and Living Single. But
She was a
anyway, no, I thought it
regular on
was.
the Cosbys?
I don't know if she was a regular. I saw she was on the Cosby sucker. Move on. I'm verifying now.
Yeah, because I'm like, what?
I saw her
If
on
she's
there.
a regular, I don't believe you. But if she was on the Cosby Show, I believe it. A lot of people on the Cosby
Living
Show.
Singles in the Cosby Show. She was Pam Tucker on 48 episodes.
Really?
She was on the Cosby Show for 2 years.
Guess I didn't watch it much. But yeah. What did you? I have some thoughts about her. What did you think about her?
I thought she was pretty. I liked her. I thought that I thought I liked how upfront she was about what she wanted. You know, because she invited when she first saw Monk, right? She was walking to her house and she dropped some fruit and he helped her. And she had him in the house and they were talking, they were drinking wine, conversating. She realized that she owned one of his books, you know, and was talking about how she's a defense attorney.
Ooh, that was
But the,
interesting. Do you remember what she said when Monk had asked her how
how do you feel about defending
people who are
guilty
guilty? Yeah,
people?
yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, all of them are guilty, but you don't judge people on their worst actions.
What do you think about that? And when you say all of them are guilty, what do you think she meant by all of them are guilty? Like the people she defends are guilty, or the people on prosecution and defense are both guilty?
I think she means the people that she defends are more often than not guilty, right? But she feels like she prefers to defend the guilty people because everyone deserves a second chance and shouldn't be deserved of their worst action.
So you think a person is more than their worst deed?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it depends on the
Absolutely.
deed.
No,
I do. There's
absolutely.
some
I think
deeds
I
you can
think
do that I cannot look past, and for me, you are that, and I can't.
yeah, no, I
I'm not
agree.
saying
But
it's
I
right, but
still
there's some things where I'm just like, nah, nigga, that's you.
yeah. No, there's some egregious crimes obviously that people do that will never be forgiven. But at the same time, humans can't forgive them, but God can.
I ain't God, unfortunately. Well, no, fortunately, if I was God, we'd be fucked up.
You stupid.
Only blessings to people I like.
Man, where are we?
Well, okay, so one thing that we're talking about Coraline.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we know that when Monk was at the house, her
Oh yeah.
ex dude came in.
So she should have warned him because he could have certified like he could have got shot right then and there and the movie was over. Like she set him
It's
up.
not that type of black movie, James.
No, but she set him up.
She didn't set him
Like
up.
if it,
He came home, and I get you though. I get, but she knows him. She knows that he is mature enough to accept the fact that they are no longer together, and she may be entertaining other men. And it's not like he found them like entangled. You know, they were standing in a
yeah,
kitchen,
the-
relatively far away from each other, having a drink. So, if he would have came,
he asked if he was gonna stay for dinner.
yeah. So honestly, I feel like judging by their conversation, I feel like they probably had a mutual understanding that hey, we're going to see other people, and we're going to be mature about it and cool about it. But one thing, I just wish she would have expounded more on that. We don't really know too much about Coraline, and it's funny because I remember when Coraline and Monk were talking about his books. Coraline said to him that you write female characters well, but I feel like Coraline we didn't know much about her at all. She kind of only existed as kind of like the voice of reason for Monk, or like another perspective for Monk, and kind of like a supporter of Monk. But we didn't really, I know it's a long movie. There's a lot of characters to focus on, but we didn't really hear much about her career. We didn't hear much about her past relationships. We didn't really know too much about like her goals and aspirations. She was just kind of Monk's smart, attractive girlfriend, supportive girlfriend, but it's just like that was kind of it. So I do feel like there could have been a little more, not depth, because she played the character very well, but just maybe like a little more time put into the character.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the struggle that movies adapted from a book has, because a book obviously can go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, you got
A
to cut
movie
the
has to
fat
be between an
somewhere.
hour and a half and 2 hours.
Yeah, you got to trim the
Yeah,
fat
right.
somewhere.
So in the book, if they dove into, I'm not even sure she's an active character in the book, but if they dove straight into that storyline in the book, yeah, you can dedicate a whole chapter to that. But in the movie, is not.
And
I
I
didn't care
get
about
that.
her.
I'm just
I didn't care
saying.
about her
I'm
ex.
just saying about I'm just saying something that I would like to have seen. I understand, that you can't fit everything into a book, but that is one thing I
Yeah,
noticed about Coraline. Did you feel the same way?
yeah. No, I didn't care about her background.
Okay.
I was mildly interested in and she said that's her ex. I didn't know if it was ex-husband, ex-boyfriend. You know what I mean? Ex-baby daddy. Like I don't know what ex meant, but like I'm like okay, he's X-Man, and then she just started hanging out with Monk, and that was Monk's only source of happiness.
I wasn't listening for
Right?
a second, so I heard you say X-Men, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" In my mind, it's like, "Oh, he's saying X-Man, like that's our X-Man."
No,
Like I
no,
came
I did
back
say
into the
X-Men.
conversation, heard you said X-Men. I was like, "James, what the fuck?" I was like, let me just listen. But
But yeah, so his mom deteriorated
what was
very
his mom's
fast.
name? I forget.
His mom was named crap. I gotta hop back. So the actor is Leslie Uggams, and her name was Agnes Ellison, but he just referred to her as mother.
Mother. Yeah, that's another. Who
Which,
calls? What's wrong with y'all? Mother?
yeah, I don't trust people who refers to their parents as mother.
They sound
Like explicitly,
sociopathic.
exactly like mother. Come here.
What are you, a robot? The foot.
Yeah, like yeah, that was weird. But no, man, she deteriorated fast when she let the bathroom water run in, and then she disappeared in the middle of the night
So,
at the beach. He had to go find her.
so I can't remember. Um, the bathwater scene where she left the bathtub room. That was after Lisa had already passed.
Yes, the bathtub scene was after the funeral. It was actually right after the funeral, and then she ran out to the beach when, oh, we forgot about
Maynard.
Maynard and Lorraine.
Maynard.
They
Yeah, it
were
is
they were
Maynard. I say Maynard, but they
Maynard.
say Maynard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Maynard and Lorraine was hanging out, and then Monk and Lisa was hanging out, and then
I have some questions about.
Mother decided to run out into the ocean.
Yeah. I have something I want to say about Lorraine, but we'll get back to that. But DQ said something that made sense to me. I was like, oh man, that's really sad. But he was like, it was a joke. But when, I guess when Monk's mother was having I don't know, a dissociative episode or hallucinating, she was gone. She ran out to the beach, excuse me, and she said, Lisa's out there rough housing with the cousins. She could get hurt. She doesn't swim very well. And then DQ made a joke like, yeah, Lisa's in the ocean, but not like that. And I thought, oh, snaps. So they definitely scattered Lisa's ashes in the ocean for the funeral. And I was like, oh, man, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Is that her kind of, because she's like, she's not competent. Is that her, she understand, is that like kind of reality and her delusion messing with, like mixing, and now she thinks that Lisa is alive and physically out there? I was like, that's really sad.
That is super sad
Yeah.
and dark and morbid, and I'm upset that you brought that to
I
my
thought of that and I was
attention.
like, oh man, maybe, it's like a mixture of she knows what happened, but also she's unwell and she has Alzheimer's. And I was like, oh man, that's really sad. I felt bad for her the whole time when she was sitting there with that blank face. It's just, I think Alzheimer's is one
Hmm.
of the worst diseases out there. Just watching
It
someone
really
you
is. It's
love
cruel.
it's cruel, become a shell of themselves and
A different
just
person.
become infantile, especially if it's
No,
someone
it's
who who was who was confident, who was intelligent, who was competent. And now it's just like, yo, you don't know what's going on. You don't remember me. It's just it's really is I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That's very sad.
no.
But one thing about Lorraine, does she seem like a mammy to you?
What do you mean,
Okay.
mammy?
When I say mammy, do you know what I mean by like the trope of the mammy character?
No.
Okay, so how do I explain it? The trope of the mammy character is an antiquated, racist character trope that pops up in a lot more movies than it's in so many movies. Do you remember Tom and Jerry? There was this black.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yep, yep, yep,
So pretty much the man.
yep. So the black woman who takes care of all the children, the housework. You know what I mean? I get you saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
she normally watches white children and abandons her own because she needs the job. And she's normally seen as a character who is undesirable and a motherly type figure. She's normally bigger. And I feel like they tried to subvert the sort of mammy character trope by giving Lorraine a love interest and making her seem desirable in Maynard's eyes. Remember when he first saw her and he was like, Miss Lorraine. And I was like,
That was hilarious. That was cute.
yeah. And it was cute, but me and Victoria were both kind of like, the first time I watched it, you were like, she's this dark skinned woman helping this light skinned ass family, well, besides Cliff. And it's just like, she's giving mammy. She's giving mammy. She's very humble. But, they did subvert that because she had her own ambitions and everything. But I was like, okay, y'all. But I was like, I wonder if that's done kind of intentionally. Because once again, this is a movie about stereotypes.
It is.
One thing that I thought was so freaking funny. Remember when Monk was in his hotel room and a movie was playing on the TV? It was Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh yeah.
DQ told me it was Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh, was it? Was
Yeah.
it? Was it?
Dog, that movie out of context was hilarious. He was like, just the camera like phased away. No, wait. Do you remember what he said? You gotta say
It
it.
was something like it was. I can't remember exactly. It was something like.
I could hear
You
him.
okay?
It was
Okay.
something like. It was,
Yeah.
This nigga was holding
It
crack in
was.
his hand like, this is your bitch. Nigga was holding crack in his hand like, this is your bitch. You fuck the bitch. Don't let the bitch fuck you. That shit was nice.
Yo, and then the camera pans away and it was like, because niggas ain't got no family. I was literally crying. I was crying.
But in the context of the movie, it makes perfect sense. Get Rich or Die Trying is amazing. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm out of
I was like, I don't remember the movie
Yeah.
being this bad, but out of context,
Nah, it looks
it
crazy.
just sounds like vulgarity
It look crazy.
and just senselessness. He said, because niggas ain't got no family. It was just funny because the camera was on the TV when they said that. So you just see Mo
Yeah.
going like, what the hell is this?
Nah, it wasn't like.
But he was taking notes.
Yeah.
He was taking notes.
Yeah.
And what got me right,
You know what it reminds me of? Oh, wait. He was taking notes. Yeah. To write the book. What were you saying?
so he was taking notes to get the most, like you said, hood, like derogatory, like he wanted to basically
He wanted to immerse himself in niggerdom.
yes, and in niggerdom, right? And he was just so upset about how disingenuous he felt about it, right? That he sat and he wrote
My pathology.
My Pathology, right?
No, you're saying it wrong. You're saying it wrong.
Or
My pathology.
My Pathology, yeah. Right.
Stag Arley.
And
It was
he
a
read
lay.
it
It was.
by Staggerly.
Oh, I didn't put two and
Right,
two
because
together.
it's
He like Flow Rider.
Yes, he's exactly. He's staggering,
Oh, Will
right?
I Am.
He can't you know what I mean? He got like a little pimp walk, you know?
No, that's
He's
Swagger.
like- I know, but Swagger is the whole getup, but Stagger is just like kind of like falling or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like a little
Yeah.
gangster thing, you know.
And when he was writing,
But
what were you saying?
no, I'm about to get to the writing part, but you go first.
When he was writing, I liked how they handled that scene a lot, how they visualized his thoughts in his writing process with the two characters in the room. And he wrote something.
Van Gogh and Willy Wonka.
Yeah. I was like, Van Gogh's a hard name. I was like, I like that as like a street name. You paint blood, nigga. I paint with blood. Watch this blood splatter. Call me Jackson Pollock. But
My canvas is a concrete. You know what I mean? Like, fake blood, and the canvas is a concrete.
yeah, we real hood. Say no. But what was I saying? Yeah, I like that visual depiction, and he had the older character who you said Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka.
He called Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Even though he didn't say and his name was
I had it on
that
with
was Keith
subtitles,
David.
so I saw. Yeah, so Keith Davis
Keith
is
David. Yep, Keith David.
Keith David's
And then
character.
the dude from Alexander Hamilton was in it.
Oh, that's him.
Okireki. I don't even know how I'm pronouncing it.
Oh, whatever.
He's he was Madison and Hercules Mulligan.
Oh
That's
yeah, I love him. He has such a powerful voice in Hamilton. But
He does.
you know they're
He
coming to Philly. I'm watching it.
Do it. I watched it in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I'm mad, but it's at the Academy of the Arts, and literally they haven't renovated their building since the 50s. I feel like because the seats are so freaking small, like you have no legroom. But yeah, Keith Davis said something. He was like, "Take a look at my black skin and complexion," and it reminds me of, you remember on Don't Be a Menace, where Bernie Mac was like, "I hate black people. I hate black pepper. I hate my gums because they black. I hate Whoopi Goldberg's lips. I hate Forrest Whitaker's neck." That's what it
Whitaker's
reminds
neck.
That's what it reminds me of. Yo, I hate my gums because they
Yeah,
black.
look at my. Exactly.
That's what it reminds me of. It's just like, and I kind of hate books like that too, where like it's just, I've read
Self-hate all the time.
not even that. Like, I don't know. I've read bad black literature, and it's just books where it's like, I looked in the mirror at my cocoa caramel skin and my kinky hair and my voluptuous booty and round nose. It's just like, we get it. You're black. Like, can we move on? Like, I don't know. It seemed it's too on the nose. It was just too on the nose, and it was just too, I guess it was an easy read. Yeah, I've read books like that. So reading that, I was like, God, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Why he shoot his pop though?
Because why not? He said, "You
Why
ain't
not?
shit, so I ain't shit." And he asked him, "Why'd you do that?" And Monk was just like, he just shrugs. "Oh no, nigga, this is what you want."
I'll just
But you know it was so
yes,
funny.
But what?
Remember, Monk was watching TV again, and they said, "Celebrating Black History Month," and they showed clips of all the black movies, and it was just trauma movies like Precious and Roots and Boys in the Hood, just niggas
Exactly.
getting shot and slaves getting beat. I was
Yes.
crying.
Exactly.
I was crying. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, exactly. And that's what he was trying. And even the director.
What were you going to say before that?
Right.
You going to say something before that before I cut you off? Do you remember? Is it Lost to the Cosmos?
Oh, what I was gonna say is, in that scene when when the two guys were acting out his book,
My
right?
pathology.
Yes, and he was like, and the son was like, "What do I say?" And he gave him like a speech about how, like, his mother and his father. I thought that speech was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good too. You know what I mean? Like, like you said, it was a very expected speech, but I think it was written well. I was like, okay, Monk, even when you try to write garbage, your literary prowess is still on display sometimes. It's still kind of showing through.
Exactly, and I think that's why, like he thought the book was garbage, and probably it was just like him. Like I said, it was like Jimi Hendrix rapping. I'm going back to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
thing. Or
Have you
Jimi
been
Hendrix
listening to
singing,
him lately?
right?
What's this kick about Jimi Hendrix?
Well, I would just think about black. Like I just thought about a black artist that was undeniably talented, and the first thing I
Prince,
could think of
Michael,
was Jimi Hendrix.
Beyonce.
Like just from like musically, like
Prince.
You know what I mean?
Prince, my nigga.
Yeah, but when I think of guitar, I don't think about
Prince
Prince.
is the devil. He plays every instrument.
I know, but I just remember Jimmy.
Okay. No, I was just wondering. I was generally wondering, but even
But
like
yeah, but
even like the
I
name
guess-
of the book, My Pathology. It's an intelligent name. You know what I mean? Which is why he later
is.
changed it to fuck. But it jumping forward a little bit. Like,
he did everything he can to make sure that book didn't succeed.
Yeah.
And white people just kept eating it up.
They love
And he
it.
made millions of dollars off of it.
Yo,
Just eating it up.
it's just. But me and DQ were talking when he said, I'm gonna change the book to fuck, and the publishers were like, yeah, it makes it more black. I asked DQ, I was like, when you think of curse words, is fuck like the black curse word to you? I was like, white people love fuck. I feel like fuck is a very white word. Like, I go to the gym with a bunch of white people. When they are getting in the zone, they say, fuck you, man. In movies, how many movies have you watched where they just dropping the F-bomb all crazy? Like, fuck you, Brad. What the fuck? I was like, I think fuck is, that's a white curse word.
I think mother effer is a black person.
Motherfucker. Yes. And I think shit. I think we have, it'd be like shit. You know what I mean? But yes, black people drop the F-bomb a lot, but I feel like that's hey, DQ. He's doing dishes. God bless him.
Someone got to.
I do dishes. I don't think he hears me. But yeah, I'm just like, I feel like white people love the F-bomb. But yeah, even My Pathology, I'm like, that's let's look up the definition of I'm trying to say it right now. Pathology. So the science and causes.
Yeah. It's just
The science of the causes and effects of disease, especially the branch of medicine that deals with the laboratory experimentation of samples of body tissue for diagnostic or forensic purposes. A pathological condition.
mm-hmm.
So the typical behavior of a disease. So he's kind of saying that pretty much the way his character is acting in this street life and just the violence and the fear of it all. It's part of a larger issue, literally a disease that's plaguing the black community and plaguing him.
Mm-hmm.
But that was too intelligent. So fuck it is.
Yeah, and when he was like, I got an idea, and he came up with that title, I was like, he lost his mind, right? Or even his publicist, right? Publishers.
I think his publisher,
Whoever his agent was.
Okay, yeah, I guess his agent, yeah.
Right, his agent saying like, yeah,
Arthur, that's
he's
his
a
name.
fugitive, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Arthur, he's a fugitive. That was a little much. That funny was like, what?
What
like,
if they
could've
fact
background
checked
checked
this?
Like,
He was like, they don't even have money to pay for editors.
Yeah,
They're not fact checking anything. And they didn't. They did not. They did not.
They didn't like, oh, he's a fugitive, and because he was a fugitive, that's how he got the movie deal. And it's crazy what little white lies can do.
Yeah. Yeah. But Yeah, but
Were you impressed that he was able to finish the book?
I was, because like you said, how did you describe Monk? How he's written in the book? What did you call him? You said that he is.
He was they called him like basically a snob. He was a literary snob.
But you said
And he
something
was,
like,
un-
yes, he has like an unwavering sense of creative. You said something.
yeah, is a man of uncompromising artistic standards.
Yeah.
And dwindling financial prospects.
Listen, I get it. I get it. As a creator myself, I ain't gonna put out something that I don't believe in. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's why would I do that? If I have complete artistic freedom, if I can control it, I'm not gonna put out something that I hate. Like,
Yeah,
people do it all the time to make money. You
at
hear
same
all the time these artists saying they put out a song, it's their single, it's chart topping, they can't stand it. They just need it for the money.
And that's how I remember. Yeah, Nirvana said that
About what?
with about "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Really?
Right, Kurt Cobain. I remember him saying he was like, "I hated that song." You know, he was like, "I hate." He basically said he wrote that song. It wasn't his favorite song, but it got so popular he had to play it every single concert. You know, and you know,
I guess
it's-
that's kind of like we lived in the ghetto. Sometimes we want things that aren't that good. Like,
Yeah.
not saying the song isn't good, but yeah,
I
like
like it. I think it's
you're
bigger.
the singles on albums are normally the worst songs for the
Yeah,
most
they
part.
really
It's
are.
the album cuts that's really like, oh, this nigga crazy. Like, you know.
Yeah, and this could sound crazy, right? But like, and I love these two songs, but like, Kendrick Lamar's "Backseat Freestyle."
All my
Right.
life I had money and
money
power.
and
Respect
power.
my mind or die from
Or
lead
die
shower.
from that shot. I pray my
Give
Get
bigger
big
than
as
I
the
can
Eiffel
talk, so I
Tower.
can the world for 72
world for 72.
hours.
That joint goes hard, and
Ah,
drinks
ding,
go
ting,
hard.
ting.
But like other songs on that album are mind opening. You know,
Hold
what I
on,
mean?
what? That's Good
just-
Kid, Mad City.
That's Good Kid, Mad
Yeah,
City.
classic
Like, it
album.
just classic,
Yeah.
right? But like, that's not his best songs on the album, but that's the songs you hear.
Swimming
People
pools.
wanna
We hear swimming pools a lot. Swimming pools had a
Swimming
deeper
pools.
meaning, but yeah,
It did, but people use it as a pull up.
yeah,
track.
yeah, exactly.
It's that
We
portion.
the song is literally about the vice and the horrors that come with drinking, and we would drink to it in
Exactly.
school. Like, yeah, swimming pool full of
Exactly.
liquor. He's talking about how this killed his granddaddy and shit, and we just hear like, yeah, let's drink, let's do shots.
Exactly, and I think that's why. Speaking of liquor, the Johnny Walker reference was really good.
Johnny Walker.
Right.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, when he said between the original Johnny, the red label, the black label, and the blue label, right? How you have, and companies do this all the time, right? Like you think that, oh, you know, I'm gonna buy this brand because this brand is better than like the generic brand is better until you realize that the same producers make both brands. Right, they're just diversifying. They're that's not diversifying. That's some sort of business term where they're basically adding like levels to their portfolio. You know, you have the great stuff and you have the crap. You know, and for him, he can keep writing his great stuff and he can write his crap, and he can make money off of either one. So I get it. I think he just needs to get over himself a little bit.
But it's hard. It's like come on. There's some things that you just I get it. I get what he's saying. I understand his frustration when it comes to We Lives in the Ghetto. I understand him not wanting to put out fuck. Like, cause what? What are we even doing here? Like, I completely get it. Yes, he got into an argument with Coraline when he found out Coraline read the book.
And she liked the book.
And she liked it. And he said something that was so disrespectful. He said, you know,
People like you.
he said this is
Or something like that.
garbage and people read it like pigs run into the slops and people like you. And I'm just like, dang. And I feel like she could have read him harder. I would have told him to get out of my house. So what I was saying, sorry, we had some technical difficulties, but I was saying that I would have kicked him out my house if I was Coraline, because I didn't like
Yeah.
his demeanor. Like, she was sitting at the table and he was literally standing looking down on her, figuratively and literally, you know, and just kind of coming at her, and it seemed a little threatening too. I know he wasn't going to do anything, but at this point he's going through a lot, you know. Later on in the movie, Monk admits that he's getting angrier and angrier, you know, and people always compare him to his father. And he's just standing over the table looking down on her. And when she said, "You should go," I didn't like how he finishes his drink and then set it down like he was taking his time. I would have been like, "Get the fuck up out my house." Like, why? Like, he just kind of finished his drink, took his time to said nonsense. And it's like, this is my house. When I tell you to go, you leave as quickly as possible. So I didn't like that.
Get up out of here.
But Coraline says something that did struck a chord with me. Do you remember what she said?
That's, she said, "Oh, you're talking a lot of smack for someone who hasn't published in a while."
Yeah, she came at his neck, but she said something. She said, "When you're going to realize that not agreeing with people is not a badge of honor." Well, not being able to relate to people, is not a badge of honor. She was like, and you know, I had the.
It makes you an a-hole.
It makes you an asshole. Yeah, she said, you know, you've been brooding and like acting distant and weird, and you may think it's chic or artsy, but it just makes you an asshole. But her saying, when you're going to realize that not being able to relate to people is not a badge of honor. And, you know, I had to check myself, because sometimes I do feel this sense of sort of superiority when, let's say that, I don't know, a trash pop song comes out and everyone loves it, and I'm just looking around and I'm like, this is garbage. What is wrong with you guys? Or if a book comes out and I don't believe the book is well written or challenging, and everyone's like, oh my God, this book is so good. Or a TV show comes out and I'm like, this TV show is terrible. Like, it's not written well. The characters aren't portraying these actors aren't portraying. You know what I mean? It's just like, don't yuck other people's yum. Like, just because something isn't your taste, just because doesn't mean that your taste is better necessarily.
That's true.
You know? And Monk's mother said, you know, you're a genius. And she said geniuses are lonely. And that's true, because I feel like geniuses are people who aren't understood, and they're people who don't understand people as well.
Yes, but if you remember, she was like, your father was a genius and he was lonely. And if I would have left him, that would have made, even though she knew he was cheating, that would have made him even lonelier, right? And she was like, you're a genius too. And then Monk was like, yeah, I don't feel like it sometimes. He said, yeah, I know Cliff. So she thought she was talking about the other son.
Oh.
Right.
I don't remember
she
that.
She thought she was talking to
Cliff.
her gay son, Cliff.
Yeah.
Right. And I think his story, you know, where he basically got caught sleeping with a man and he got kicked out the house. His wife took half of the practice, half of everything.
His kids hate him.
And his kids hate him, you know, and he turned to drugs and partying and everything. And his mom, even though in the whole movie, right, Cliff is a plastic surgeon. You know,
addicted to drugs.
For some reason, we don't see him. He was addicted to drugs, but like I'm saying, but Cliff is a plastic surgeon the whole movie, and not once did you think this man's a genius. So you thought that Jeffrey was a genius.
Who's Jeffrey?
But Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright, and I met Monk.
Okay.
Yeah. You thought Monk was a genius, right? But I think her saying that did twofold. One, it meant that she understood, even though she didn't really get along with Cliff, right? Because remember, there was dancing.
That broke my heart.
And she looked at him.
That broke my heart.
Yeah,
it was such
like,
it was such a tender moment, you know. But then she looked at him, and she said that, and it literally broke Cliff. It literally broke Cliff, because it's like you said, once again, it was that vulnerability. It was that childlike wanting of acceptance and love. It's like, so many people turn their kids away because of their sexuality, and it's like they just want you to love them. They just want you to love them and accept
Exactly.
them. And it was really heartbreaking to see. And like you said, I think that's why he was so touched when Lorraine and Maynard
Mm-hmm.
accepted him. And even though he was wilding with his little naked boyfriends, half naked boyfriends, I'm like, ain't no way in the
Doing
world.
coke on their table.
I'm like, ain't no way in the world naked dudes is not making me food. Put some clothes on. Wash your hands. Like, I don't want your penis anywhere near my pancakes. But when Lorraine and Maynard accepted him, he felt that because that's what he wanted from his mother. And he just, even on a moment like that, the precious moment of them dancing, him showing you that he loves you and cherishes you, and you just like, I knew you weren't a queer. I was just like, wow, that was literally heartbreaking.
Yeah. No, that was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
And then Monk said she
But
doesn't
I
know what
feel
she's
like her
saying.
say-
And I'm like, dementia doesn't make you a homophobe the last time I checked.
Yeah. Just the filter goes away.
Because I remember Cliff said when they were trying to find a nursing home for her and care, Cliff was like, why are you looking at places that expensive? Like, why are you looking at the best places? She wasn't the best mother.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. And that's real. That's real.
yeah.
So let's jump to the ending.
Well, let's what's the ending in your mind? Because I want to talk about
We're a little long.
I want to talk about the meeting when the conversation with Centaura and how you think that went with Monk and Centaura.
Yeah. No, jump to that, and then we could jump to the 3 alternate endings, essentially. So when Centaura, right? You mean where? So Monk reluctantly agreed to join this board where they were, basically selecting who should win like
The literary award recipient.
artist of the year. Yeah, right. And his book, his satire book, F, popped
You
up.
can just call him my pathology.
My Pathology. Yeah. So that movie popped the book. It pops up, and he's like, "No, why is this on here? This is garbage." But then, to his surprise, Centaura also agreed that the book wasn't great.
He was surprised by
they should not
Centaura
win.
a lot, actually. I remember throughout the film when they were have their meetings online, he seemed generally shocked that Centaura was intelligent and was reasonable.
Yeah.
There are a few times she'll say something and he'll look taken aback and he'll be like, no, I absolutely agree. And it's like, it's that duality. It's like,
Yeah.
just because I write about this doesn't mean that I'm not intelligent. Doesn't mean that I'm not capable or incompetent. But continue, yeah.
Exactly. He did the same stereotype that he was upset that people were doing. Right? Is he typecast her, like you said, based on that one book. But then when she spoke and she explained like, she was like, "Hey, I did research in this book. I went down south and actually tried to learn about how people talk and everything."
I didn't think her argument was strong, though. Did you think it was? I'm talking about the meeting before him, but I was still
Well-
kind of like, oh, I agree with Monk. Still.
Yeah, so she admitted to pandering. She was
Yeah.
like, "This is what the audience wants. I need to pay my bills, and I could write well, so let me do it. Feed them what they want. Manja, I'm feeding the crap. Manja, eat the crap, eat it. And a lot of people do that with TV shows, with movies, with books. Like everyone's not super passionate about everything they create. Like even products. People just make skin products and hair products and perfumes just because they know it sell, not because it's good, because people will buy it. And that's literally the definition, in my opinion, of what's good is, are people willing to listen to your story? And I thought Aline actually pointed out when they actually selected My Pathology, right, to be the winner, the formerly known My Pathology, right? They the lady was like, "Yeah, I think we should listen to black voices," even though
The
they
both black
ignored
people
the
in
two
the room.
black
Yeah.
voices in the room.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I noticed that too. You also want to know what I noticed?
Yeah.
This is earlier on, but as soon as Monk say, I don't really believe in race, a cab driver literally chose a white man over him. Do you remember that? as soon as he said that.
Yes,
he
it's
said
like
that.
yeah, I don't believe in race anyway, and he got
Passed by.
left by the cabbie. Like
He picked up a white
like,
dude like
you don't,
immediately.
like-
Yeah. Yeah, but he's like, yeah, I think it's really important we listen to black voices. And it's like, you don't listen to this. 2 black people in the room telling you this book is trash. But that's hilarious. Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, I get it. I guess that moment with Sentaro was literally the finger being pointed back on Monk, you know, him looking into a mirror, because at least she can admit that it was a cash grab, but at least she put her heart into it. It wasn't, you know, at least she tried to make something authentic, you know, her doing research. So it's like, yeah, once again, duality. It's a cash grab, but I still care about it and I still put my time into it. And maybe if Monk read the book, he would understand that, you know?
And also, you know, she was significantly younger than him.
Was she?
Right? She was teaching that. Yeah, Issa Rae's younger than Jeffrey Wright.
That doesn't mean that the characters are younger than each other, though. Jeffrey Wright in this movie looked the same age as his mama.
But he did. But I'm saying it's obvious that he's younger than.
I don't think it is. I don't think much older. But listen, him and his mom look the same age to me. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah.
Anyway, I think it's obvious that she's younger, meaning that he was around more. So if she as an artist need to bring out a book, like your book has to splash, you know, a big splash. And if you write something more genuine and more her speed of what she want to write, people go to read it because they like her, you know? And that's what I realize is that
what do you
I
mean?
Don't like
you mean
books.
her?
I like authors.
What?
I mean that
an author
if
is a
you
selling
know
point for you
that-
with books.
Yes, right. If I know I like the author, I like their style, I like what they write about, and I read their first book and I love the first book, there's a higher propensity, there's a higher chance, right, for me to buy their next book. You know? So she had to go and do something catchy to catch all the fish. And the next book, if she do something different, something more intellectual, something deeper, people will still buy it. Even if they don't like it, they'll still buy it because it's her. And that's what they like first. And she won her awards, right? And she got, you know what I mean, like the notoriety, right? So people just keep reading it. Even if the second book isn't as good. And you see that kind of happen throughout.
You think she got notoriety? Like people knew the book wasn't good and they still bought it?
No, I think people love the book, and because they love the book, they go love whatever else that Sentaro puts out.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that could also be.
I'm
a
being the
motivation by watching.
dictionary
Like,
detective right now. But
what?
I get what you're saying. But what did I want to say? So one thing that I'm still not sure what happened. Did Monk come clean? Because I know he came. So did Monk?
At the end.
Yes. So did he come clean to the dude who wanted to make Plantation Annihilation? Like to the movie producer.
He did because he. Yes, he did because he was just speaking normal, and he knew he was a writer, and he knew that. So I think he came clean to him and said.
So he told him that he was Stag Garley.
About the lie.
So he told him that he was
Yes.
Stag Garley. Okay.
Yes, and he basically was like, instead of making a movie about this book, make this movie about me writing the book and telling a lie about it.
Okay.
Right. Which is a far more interesting movie, in my opinion.
So what did he do at the award show? Did he really go up there
So what he said,
and say,
no, at the award show, he said he did nothing. He just got up and walked out.
so does Coraline know the truth? Did she actually come in the room? Because he said the real Coraline isn't returning my calls. Is that because he cussed her out about reading the book? Or is that because she knows that he's Stag Garley?
She's still mad about him cussing her out in the house.
That's what you think has happened. Okay.
So,
I was like, okay, I'm not
yeah.
really sure. And I don't mind the ambiguity. I just wanted to know what you thought happened.
No, he said straight up. He was like, yeah. He's like, so what did you say in real life, right? Because in the first scene they showed us, he stood up there, he stood the trophy, and was like, I have a confession. And then the movie ends, and the director's like, okay, what happens? What do you do in real life? He was like, nothing. I just stood up and walked out.
That's what he said.
You
I don't
know?
remember saying that. Okay.
Yeah, he said that. He's like, I just walked out.
Okay.
So meaning he didn't say anything to anybody. He didn't make a scene. He was just upset and he walked out.
You know, I did like the second ending though. It was very cheesy. But when he went to Coraline's house and he was like, I'm sorry, I just haven't been myself lately.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
yeah.
really cheesy. But listen, sometimes I like cheesy endings. Sometimes I think it's cute. And he's like, now it seems like a romantic comedy and we don't want that. And I was like, yeah, I know. But that was kind of a cute. You know, they wrapped it all up in a tight little bow. But unlike this movie, you can't do that. And I like that. You can't wrap everything up in a tight little bow. There's still a lot of questions that's gone unanswered. Are you and Coraline going to talk to each other? What are you going to do about your mom? Are you and Cliff's relationship being repaired? What are you going to do with your career? Like they're talking about, like how do you feel about this movie? You're still putting it out. It's a lot. So I did like how the movie ended.
What about the third ending? The over the top,
ridiculous ending that everyone wants.
Ridiculous.
It wasn't surprising. I as soon as the camera, when the police stormed in and the camera pans to the awards in Monk's hand, I knew the cops are going to think it's a gun and gun him down. I was like, and Wiley loved it. He said, that's incredible. That's incredible. I was like, of course.
And that nigga, he got shot like Denzel
in Training Day.
Yeah. And he got shot like Denzel and Malcolm X.
Yeah, they lit him up in Malcolm
on
X.
stage. They lit him up,
lit him
yo.
up.
He just got shot 40 times before he fell.
Yeah.
It was Eileen and I's jaw was dropped. It was like, the F is going on, yo.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Like, they really kill him like that. And then he walked out and sold the movie and jumped in the car with Cliff. And
jumped in
was
his
like,
convertible.
I unfortunately sold it. And before he pulled off,
that moment reminds me of Atlanta. Like the slave actor and how he just head out at him. That seems like something out of Atlanta. That seems like a very
Atlanta the show or the Atlanta the
Atlanta
city?
the show. Like
Okay.
that seems like a very I get his name wrong. Danny Glover, Hiro Murai moment. Like I was like, yeah, that was hilarious. That was hilarious. This whole movie's very funny. Very funny.
So what do you rank the movie, Murphy?
I give this movie a large bag of popcorn.
What?
Exactly. And it's crazy because when I first watched the movie, I was not impressed. That second time around, I was cracking up. I don't know what it is. I was cracking up. I thought it was a lot more funny. Like when I first watched the movie, I thought it was one of those movies, like I said, where they try to be so witty that it feels like they're holding back on the comedy and it ends up not being that witty and also not being funny. I watched it again and I was cracking up. Maybe it's because I was watching it from the comfort of my own home and I could really pay attention more than the theater with other people. And I thought it was funny. I noticed the nuances in the character's performance a lot more. Like I said, with Tracee Ellis Ross, even though she was on screen for a limited amount of time, her face when she looked at Monk and when they were talking about their mother, she said, why did I always have to make decisions about her? Why is it always me? I saw the exhaustion in her face and it was palpable. And, when we're talking about the vulnerability that Sterling K. Brown showed in his performance and, really kind of, I still feel the same way about Lorraine and like the mammy archetype, but the second time around, I kind of got used to it and and also, I kind of forgot the first time watching it that Coraline did stand up for herself when Monk was coming at her about reading fuck, so I was like, okay, she stood up to herself more than I remembered. She wasn't hollering, but she was still very stern and she still held her ground. So, like I said, I still have the same gripes, but I like the movie a lot more the second time around. So yeah, I give it a large bag of popcorn. I think it's a good movie, deserving of winning its Oscar. Yeah, for directorial debut, Brother Corey did a good job.
No, he did. He did. So,
It too.
I give it a large bag of popcorn as well.
We're finally on the same
Right.
page.
We're finally on the same page. I think the only thing we agreed on is like Luca, right?
No,
But-
we both loved Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we did. I did love Spider-Verse, even though it was a low movie, like the volume was low. This movie, right? I think they was able to take a bunch of great actors, put them on a stage together, and not have anyone kind of overshine the other, you know. And I think that Jeffrey Wright as Monk, he killed it. You could feel and see his pain and frustration, understand his
He was
anger.
seething most of the movie.
He was seething,
Yeah.
right?
Seething.
And he did it most of the time without even raising his voice. Like with the one scene where
The quiet
he went
intensity.
yes, and he gathered all his books and brought it to the right section.
He
And
was like,
the dude was like, I'm just
why is this in the African American studies section? Yeah.
exactly just because I'm black doesn't mean I wrote an African American.
His book did look like a textbook, though. I'm not going to lie. The hardcover, how thick it is. I was like, it's giving college reading assignment.
But this NPR article, they said that American fiction is excellent, but necessarily streamlined, more narrow, and comparatively tame, as compared with
Erasure. Yeah.
Erasure. They said Erasure is bold, experimental, rude, and transgressive. At times, discursive. That's the word I was trying to say.
Discursive.
Right.
What does that mean? Discouraging? No.
Discursive means it doesn't stay on point.
Okay. Oh, it like sways from the path. It's kind of all over the place.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Film goers introduced to Everett, and Everett is the author.
Percival.
Through the film, right? Through the film, might wonder what the fuss is about. In this case, the expected advice is well earned. Read the book. So I think we need to read the book. I think the book is going to be fantastic. You know, it was written in 2001. I don't know if the same storylines kind of lined up together.
It seems pretty similar with the characters and everything.
Yeah, at least the theme is similar. But I think if those questions you or the other listeners might have, I recommend reading the book. And I'm impressed because it's very hard in film to depict someone writing a movie while in the movie. But I couldn't imagine in a book, you're writing about someone writing a book in your book and make it followable and interesting. So that just seems just difficult, but a feat, you know, in its own, just putting that layers in without any sort of visual help. So yeah, that's all I got. You have anything else, Perfect?
Nope.
No? Okay, well, thank you to listening. Thank you to listening.
Go
to
watch the
whatever
movie, y'all.
episode.
It's on Amazon Prime. Yeah, tell
Yes,
them.
it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime. You just have to get their MGM subscription, which Amazon bought MGM, which is crazy. Amazon got too much money.
They do.
But yeah, go watch this movie on Amazon Prime. Listen to our podcast, the Watch That Joan podcast, hosted by James and Mary, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where else you find your podcast. Look forward to dropping another episode soon.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.